So as we continue to talk about how to be successful in the respiratory therapist program here at HAC, let's discuss some of the class expectations. It is expected that you read your assignments. You should read the assignments before lecture. Lecture does not replace reading. It only supplements what you have read. And in class, in lecture, is the time then to ask questions for maybe something that you didn't understand in your reading. This gives me the opportunity to clarify it or explain it in a different way than the reading does. Be prepared every day you come to class. Make sure you have the correct folder. Make sure you have the correct notes. Make sure you have everything that you need for class that day so that anytime we're discussing something, you didn't bring the wrong folder and then you're lost. Participate in class. It's more fun for all of us. We learn more if we all participate. Ask questions. Bring up comments. Bring up scenarios. And we will discuss them. Otherwise, I'm just standing up there talking and droning on. I already know this stuff. So I want to hear what your thoughts are, what your experiences have been in your life with different types of scenarios. Always be on time. You want to make sure that you are in your seat, ready to go when class starts. This will be very important, especially when we're taking quizzes and exams, because once a quiz or exam has started, no one is allowed into the classroom after that, because it is considered distracting to the other students. So if you don't show up on time and you've not notified me ahead of time, you're not going to be admitted. Read your objectives, basically your syllabus, and adhere to the expectations. Everything that's in that syllabus is a contract between you and I. Okay, so make sure that you are looking and seeing what are the expectations. What time does class start? What time does it end? Those types of things. Remember that you are entering a healthcare profession. So you are going to be a professional. Personal responsibility is essential. If you do something, then you own up to it. Don't blame it on everything else because you didn't plan appropriately. Example, you have a paper due on Friday. You put it off and you plan to do it on Thursday. You forgot, my son's soccer team has a game and I promised him I would be there. And so you go to the game and you don't get to write the paper. Own up to that. Basically, your excuse is, I put it off, then I had a family thing come up, and I chose to do that. I accept full responsibility that I did not turn the paper in on time, or I did not do the quality of work that was expected of the assignment. You're going to get much further with people by doing that than trying to blame other people or blame other situations. Okay? You are an adult. You are a professional. And this is part of professionalism. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is one of those buzzwords that kind of gets thrown around, but we as respiratory therapists are known for our critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. If I hand you something and say, tell me something about this item, you as a respiratory therapist realize that it is three-dimensional. Turn it upside down, maybe open it up, whatever you're looking for. Most people will just, if it doesn't look them square in the face, it never occurs to them to turn it upside down and look at the bottom. Okay? I do give questions in some of your exams, bonus questions, that are critical thinking questions. They have nothing to do with respiratory therapy or medicine, but they help you to hone those critical thinking skills. As I said, professionalism is a must because you are going to be a healthcare professional. Professional means being able to get along with people in a professional manner. You're not always going to like everybody that you're with. You may not like some of your classmates. You may not like me. You may not like some of the people that you end up working with. But you still have to interact with them because we want the patient to be the first priority. So being able to put those personal things aside and to act in a professional manner about work is a skill that sometimes needs to be worked on. Homework. I do not give homework just for busy work. There is too much for me to teach you about respiratory therapy for me to give you things that you don't need to know. So if I am giving you homework, it is to help you understand a concept, and there's a pretty good chance that it's going to be on the exam. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given you the homework. Homework is not graded. However, I do look at it and see if you're on the right track. Did you complete it? Those types of things. So homework is due when it is due, and in the syllabus it will tell you what happens if your homework is late or incomplete. Speaking of the syllabus, let's talk a little bit about the syllabus. Syllabus is a contract between you and I about the class. What are the expectations of the class and how is it going to run? So always review your syllabus. I recommend to students, because we post the syllabus on the Brightspace D2L shell, and I recommend to students that you print it off and then have a hard copy with you. If you have a question, it is probably answered in the syllabus, so you should go there first and look and see if you can find the answer. Many times students will come to me and they'll ask me a question, and I may say to them, as per the syllabus on page whatever. That's not being done to be smart about it. I'm doing that to help you to understand that in the profession, you're going to have to search out answers on your own sometimes. If you ask me a question and I answer it, the thing you've learned is that I know the answer. You are responsible for the material and reading that go into the syllabus and the reading list. I sometimes have students who want to complain at the end of the class, at the end of the semester, because they didn't do well. And I had a dean one time who took the syllabus and laid it in front of the student and said, it's right here in the syllabus. You didn't have a problem with that wording on day one. How do you have a problem with it now? Okay? That's what you have to defend. Did I go against what it says in the syllabus? So read your syllabus, make sure you understand it. One advantage for us is in a program, unlike an English class or a math class, in our program, the rules and regulations are pretty much the same for all the respiratory courses in your syllabus. So each syllabus is going to basically look the same. There may be some subtle variations depending, and we usually point those out at the beginning of the class. Within the syllabus, you have learning objectives. Make sure you have read the learning objectives and that you do them. I get students who say to me, "Oh, can you give us a study guide?" Well, they don't really want a study guide. What they really want is for me to tell them what exactly is on the test. I'm not going to do that. People's lives are in your hands. So you need to read the objectives, and in your group, your study group, let's say there are 20 objectives and there are 4 of you in the study group. Divide them up. That's 5 objectives for each person. You answer those questions or answer those objectives and then share them with everybody else. That way you didn't have to do all 20 of them. You only had to do 5. And then you can discuss them and you can practice with them and learn what you need to know, because that's what is going to help you on the exam. Now next, let's talk about the type of patients that we work with and what exactly is it that we do as a respiratory therapist. We deal with critically ill patients. Sometimes those patients are on life support machines. We are the ones who run those machines. And you can do everything right, and yet the patient may still die. And sometimes we are involved in that death. We are removing patients from life support machines to allow them to die with dignity. So you are going to be involved with it. Respiratory therapy and nursing are the 2 24/7 bedside therapeutic care professions. So we work very closely with nursing. We're at the bedside taking care of the patient. And we basically deal with any heart or lung issues. Keep in mind that we treat the whole patient, not just the lungs. I get people who come to me and say, "Oh, well, I wanted to be a nurse, but they have to know everything, and I wanted to be a respiratory therapist now because you only have to deal with the lungs." That tells me that you don't have a clue what we do, because we deal with the entire patient. We deal with everything from newborns to geriatric older people. And we give medications, we give oxygen, we do therapies, and of course, we run life support machines. Keep in mind that we also do draw blood on patients. We draw arterial blood gases. So you will be sticking patients with needles. We attend all cardiac arrests. We are an integral part of the cardiac arrest team with breathing and circulation. We also attend traumas, especially level 1 traumas. Blood, guts, gore, it's all over the place. You are going to see it and you are going to be involved with it. It is a fast-paced profession and it is a high-stress profession. Now, this may not be the type of respiratory therapist you want to be once you graduate, but while you are in the profession or in the school, you will learn at this level. So be aware that all of this is going to be part of your learning process. If you have concerns or issues with any of these things, you need to come and speak with me, because then maybe respiratory therapy isn't the profession for you. All right, in the next video, we're going to talk about our classes and how our classes run and what the expectations are in those classes.